Now, this session is basically for revision as well as troubleshooting or project proposal, reviewing the project proposal. One of the requests is to teach something about Google Form, which is very easy. That also will be taking. So, let us first uh, uh, discuss something about the project proposal. Uh, सैयद जी, आप कुछ आपका तैयार है? कुछ प्रोजेक्ट प्रपोजल ऐसा कुछ डिस्कस कर सकते हैं क्या?
Yes, sir. Just give me a minute. I will just open my file and then
Yeah, you go ahead. So
in
first,
the
I think there was a request from Panuganti sir for about the uh, Google form. But if your thing is ready, maybe after 1 or 2 minutes, it will be better that you present first, right?
sir, can we start with the Google Form development? In the meantime, I can prepare my files.
Let me share my screen. I will start with Google form.
Thank you, sir.
So, to prepare a Google form, I'll be going live, and we can just write a Google form. How to prepare Google form. So it says that formsgoogle.com, right? So these are how we are moving ahead. Now, this is because I'm logging from my Gmail account. It will show my past Google Forms also. So many Google Forms you can see, right? And whatever you want, I can share this also if you want to have a ready-made forms. So many forms, right? And you can say the first form probably made in 2017, medical education and patient care. All these forms are ready. I can share in form. And you can copy it also. You can prepare your own form from that. So I need some kind of assistant uh, who can the categorize for me and put something on the Google Sheet so that you can click and you get that, something like that. Anyway, for that we have ready-made also contact information, RSVP, party invite, something like that. So you can use a template directly also, so that you can save your time. But let's start from blank form. Start a new form. You can stop me anywhere, right? We have the first thing we started. Uh, then second thing is now we are preparing the Google form. And please let me tell you that I am not an expert of anything. I know the basics thing of so many things. So the Google form, I will be teaching you only the basics. So first, form. Suppose I want to make a form to check happiness, happiness of the people, right? Of the community, happiness in the community, happiness in the community. If the people are happy or not, that I want to find out, right? So, and I can have a something description. I want to study approximately approximately find it person in urban area of Bangalore. I can define the population, which part I want to do. It's like this. It's just so that people knows who is doing this. The study is done by PhD Trust of Ahmedabad. Whatever you want to write in for, you can also write taking about consent, etc. Right, and then you can move further by pressing yes, you are giving consent. All this you can write. Now, this is the first question. Usually, we start with the serial number, right? Serial number. We can write a full also. Serial number. But then you need to use a EpiCollect. EpiCollect is the app which is can be done in the mobile directly. And serial number. And now serial number you can write as a number also, and you can write as a short answer also, because you are not going to do data analysis as per the number. Then the second would be, if you think this is a must, then required, you write them, yes, it is required. Then duplicate. The next things after serial number, you may write name, or you can write, first you write surname, or you can have F name first, and then you can have a middle name, then you can surname or last name, like this. And short uh, is okay, and name is required. Then you can have gender, for example, gender. Now in gender, you want to keep options, right? In that case, instead of short answer, you can go for options. Now, it could be a drop down also, it could be a multiple choice, or you can have a checkbox, right? And if you keep a drop down, then there will be specifically two or three things you can write down, right? Options, name, second option, email, or option could be prefer not to say, or you can say other, right? That is possible, right? Now, once you are here, you can have another. This is a, if it is not a required question, don't write this required, right? Then the next question. After gender, are you happy? Happy? Mm, you can have yes, no, and maybe, or do not want to say and wants to say something else, other. And this is our main part of the study, so we say this must be answered. Then the next question. So this is how you can go on writing questions. Now it could be happiness increases when then at the time of, you can write at the time of. Now here you can have, because you need to know, you can have a multiple choice or you can have a check boxes also, right? You can keep a check box, right? Increases at the time of morning, or you can say when you get adequate food, when you go to the garden, when somebody praises you, when you sleep, or other. Or even you can say that helping someone. Right? This is okay. So you can go on adding such questions, and you can choose check boxes, multiple choice. You can also upload some file, ask a person to upload the file, etc. So uh, this even you can take directly the date and time also you can collect. But I think this is enough of, and this is possible for you to delete also, right? And now once you do it, it is automatically saved in the your drive. Now the thing is, you want to collaborate with the people, right? In settings, if you want to make a quiz, you can keep a quiz over here. So answer one, two, three, and the marks you can do it. Then if you want to collect the email IDs, you can collect the email ID also. That is over here. Then you can allow the multiple response, or if you don't, if you limit to one response, one person can do only one response. But if you are giving health worker to fill up the form, you should not be limited to one response, right? So all this is possible, right? And now the responses you will get, if somebody fills, you will get a responses over here. And if you want to collaborate with someone, then you press it over here, add a collaborators. So for example, I want to collaborate with someone else, Rajesh for health at gmail.com. I want to collaborate with that. I can add. And I can also ask him to do something. Please see that I have made you a collaborator like this. I can send it over here. And person will be able to edit because we have written editors, right? Right. So you can add other collaborator also. You can make a copy, right? And if you want to share with someone, right? So in that case, you want to make it a share in such a way so that anybody with a link can have access. So you can write over here, any with a link, right? Now can open the things. Now this was form was untitled, so we can give a title over here, right? So title, when we close the form, title will be there. Happiness in the community. Now, if someone we want to send link to someone, right? Then here is the thing where you can which you can copy, and this whole link you can make a shorten URL, and this shorten URL can you can copy from over here. Copy. I can send this form by email, for example, Rajesh for health at gmail.com. Include form in the email, right? And in this message also I can include the link, right? And I can send like this. And when it is sent, we can go to our sent folder. I'm going to my email. I have sent this form from my email. It will appear over here. Not- The link which I have copied, once I open this thing, Okay, I can now start adding data. One, name, Rajesh, Vinod, Rai, Mehta, mail, yes. The time of road, garden, sleep, helping someone else, other, meditation, last 15 minutes, and I can submit. Now, all the submitted things you will be able to see because you are the editor rights. You will see the pen like this. Can you see this pen? If you press this, you will be able to see the responses. 100 responses, 200 all responses you will be able to see. And in form of Google Sheet, you will have Google Sheet data. Create a new one. So in the data sheet, it will come like this. Right? And then if you want to do the analysis, you can do analysis over here. Now, you look at this, it is made much better to have a separate question rather than checkboxes because if you use checkboxes, analysis will be a bit difficult, right? It will be difficult because combination will be there. Instead of you keep morning, yes, no, food, yes, no, garden, yes, no, that will be better to make it a simple, right? So this data can be saved in the Excel. You can download it and can do the analysis in AP Info. So this is about Google Form, capturing the data, making the form, etc. Dr. Panuganti, is it okay? Right. So uh, I will stop sharing over here. Any other question? Or Dr. Panuganti, is this okay? Google Form?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, सैयद सर आप बोल सकते हैं, आप बता सकते हैं.
Can I share my file, sir? Sir, can I share my file?
You should share your file. Yes. Let us
Because
see whether you have rights or not for sharing.
uh,
Allow record local sir putting waiting room. co-host नहीं है तो हम्म, आपको शेयर का ऑप्शन है कि नहीं देख लीजिए ना.
नहीं है सर, रेस्ट्रिक्टेड है सर.
अच्छा तो उसको कुछ कर देते हैं हम. हम्म,
No problem, sir. I can just say speak.
आप मोबाइल से जुड़े हुए कि लैपटॉप से जुड़े हुए हैं?
सर लैपटॉप से सर।
तो मेरा मुझे ईमेल कर दीजिए ना। आई विल बी जस्ट शेयरिंग इट, राइट? ईमेल कर
हाँ
दूंगा।
ओके सर। ओके सर।
हाँ हाँ। Yeah.
आई नीड योर ईमेल सर।
मैंने वो चैट बॉक्स में लिखा, rajesh4health@gmail.com।
ओके सर। इवन आई कैन शेयर इट फ्रॉम हियर सर।
अच्छा, शेयर कर सकते हैं क्या?
जी सर।
अच्छा, शेयरिंग राइट्स मिल गया क्या आपको?
नहीं नहीं, फाइल शेयर कर सकते हैं, मतलब चैट बॉक्स में मैं कर सकता हूँ।
अच्छा, तो कर दीजिए ना, कोई बात नहीं, चैट बॉक्स में लिख दीजिए। हम्म,
जी सर, जस्ट अ सेकंड।
शेयरिंग राइट शायद दिए गए हैं अभी, देख लीजिए।
हाँ यस सर, हो गया सर।
हाँ, तो शेयर कर दीजिए, नो प्रॉब्लम।
यस सर, कैन यू सी इट सर?
Yes, it can be seen very easily.
थैंक यू सर।
Just go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So this is my title, colorectal cancer screening practices and perceptions among the general population of the northern region of India. And this is the short background that
Mm,
colorectal cancer is the third most frequent cancer reported in the world amongst both the sexes. Additionally, the frequency of colorectal cancer is rising in younger people, and by 2030, more people aged 20 to 49 years are anticipated to have the disease. Then this is the objective. This study shall be undertaken to assess the CRC. I will use the short form CRC, sir.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that is good.
Screening practices and perceptions among northern region of India, and to suggest suitable preventive and promotive measures to the study population. Then this is the material and methods.
Mm,
This analytical cross-sectional study will be conducted in the general population. Basically, I want to take district Lucknow, sir, because maybe
mm-hmm.
northern India will be a bit big. So
Yeah.
district Lucknow of northern India, and
Mm,
this is the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The study shall include individuals who are 18 years of age and older,
mm,
and it will include both males and females. The study will include all residents of district Lucknow.
mm,
All those who will give consent will be included. Participants who are younger than 18 and those who have CRC already, they have been diagnosed with CRC, will be excluded.
mm,
And those participants who cannot read or write in English will be excluded because my questionnaire will be in English.
mm.
Also, those who do not give consent shall be exempted.
Now
Then
we
this is
just,
the, yes
अभी
sir.
बात का बाद में करेंगे, अभी इतना
Yes
सा
sir.
थोड़ा सा डिस्कस कर लेते हैं।
Okay sir. Okay.
So basically, title, as you yourself said, that you will be writing northern region of India, something like that, and then into bracket you can write the Lucknow district specifically, right?
Yes sir.
Uh, or you can say the among the general population of Lucknow, and into bracket you can write northern region of India, because
Yes.
outside the country, say somebody is reading in the Africa, the
Yes.
thing, right?
Yes.
What's we may not know about Lucknow, so you can say the population of district Lucknow. and into bracket northern region of India. That northern region of India maybe should be in the into bracket, right?
Okay.
Now, others, this is okay. Mm, Now, practices and perception both you are taking. So it's a very challenging subject, right?
Yeah.
Because practices is done by the doctors and perception is about the population. So actually, this is a two studies. It's not a single study. But
Yeah.
anyway, if you can combine two studies, is not a problem. I'm going very quickly. And then
So
there is something which you are
yes.
rating the whole population we are writing. लखनऊ का पूरा पॉपुलेशन आप कवर करना चाहते हैं.
Sir,
So
I have taken a sample size, sir, of around
now, okay, now
400.
let's go for the same thing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is my actually, sir. I am planning to go for a convenience sampling technique, and I will be doing
Hmm.
this through an online survey. So
Hmm.
this will be an online questionnaire, and
Hmm.
it will be self-administered questionnaire, and I will develop a Google form in English, and I will then send it
Just
through email.
just wait.
Yes, sir.
You are taking convenience sampling technique because you thought that random sampling is difficult for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Because always we should try to first randomize sample. अगर possible नहीं है, then only we should go for convenience sampling. अभी उसमें भी ऐसा होता है कि फर्स्ट स्टेज जो होता है रैंडम होता है, सेकंड कन्वीनियंस वो भी होता है इफ इट इज टू फेजेस. नाउ इन दिस केस it is very clear that your study will be biased. Your population is which population? The whole population whom the form is going to have, and whether they want to fill it up or not. So a lot of biases will be there. But anyway, because we have some limitation, we can go for this.
Yes, sir.
Now,
So, sir, I will
i-
develop Google forms, and
yeah.
then also I will try to do a pilot study and on a small sample size like 30 participants.
Hmm.
And then I will check for the consistency and reliability. And if it is
Hmm.
good, then I will do it on a larger scale. And
Hmm.
I'm planning to collect this information, social demographic data,
Hmm.
information about the knowledge, attitude, and practices and
Hmm.
perceptions towards CRC.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, Also, in my questionnaire, I will try to use, for example, these options like yes, no, I do not know, and try to develop some scoring system
Hmm.
for the options. And in some questions for attitude questions, because which have been used by previous studies, what I have seen that they have used
Hmm.
Likert. So I will try to use some Likert scale, like
Yeah.
strongly agree, agree, neutral,
Hmm.
disagree, strongly disagree. Also, I will take this is self-reported BMI of the
Hmm.
participants, and I will ask their weight, and I will try to calculate their BMI
Hmm.
so that I can know whether they are obese and they are having some relationship between
You'll be
obesity.
taking height and weight. Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
But it is self-reported, so again there can be some bias, sir. Uh,
Hmm.
and this is the sample size, sir, which I have calculated based on the previous recent prevalence, and this is the reference I have, which I found. It was found
Hmm.
that knowledge of screening test among the general population is 52%, sir,
Hmm.
in a study. So by doing
Hmm.
that, I calculated the
Hmm.
sample size to be 340.
Yes. Anyway, it will be around 400 usually.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. As
Hmm.
you have said that 400 is a good
Hmm.
sample size, so
Yeah.
I will try to
Hmm. That's
do
okay.
400 participants.
Hmm.
And, and
But now let us wait over here.
yes, sir.
You have your sample says जो आपने लिया है ना 400. In this case, what happens? This sample represents a population, but because we have taken convenient sampling, right? So when you take a convenient sampling, when you want to talk about the population, from which population you have taken this, the study will not be that much valid. So what I suggest, in Lucknow, you have a lot of the data lists are available. Electoral data you have about 18 years, right? Electoral data, electoral
Yes, sir.
thing. Then
Yes, sir.
you can prepare this Google form in English and Hindi also. So
Okay, sir.
when you are doing some work, तो थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा वर्क करने से अगर ज्यादा फायदा है, right?
Mm.
So But and when you distribute this form in public, you are not writing the कितने word में डालेंगे, कितने school में, college में, कहाँ डालेंगे. You are not keeping anything like that. So because you may not have learned that kind of techniques and you may not have a field base with you, right? So it is always better. Ideal क्या है वो सीख लेते हैं, भले कर नहीं पाएंगे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Electoral list you will get from your the authority. Municipal corporation, Lucknow Municipal Corporation will be there,
Yes, sir.
and they must be having this electoral list. Election Commission का कोई office होगा, and I don't say that you do like this, but one can do like this. That's what I mean. So once we get that list, it is very easy to randomize 400 people out of population of let's say 3 lakh or something like that, right? So, and if those people do not answer to you, then the next person is taken. This is an ideal thing. Other thing is, you can have the list from municipal corporation. You have a various wards will be there. They will also have a sub societies will also be there, and you can see in there the polio booth are also there. There are such smaller units are available. And suppose there are around uh, 1200 booths are there in your Lucknow, or maybe around 300 booths are there. So what may be the booth? So if it is 300 booths, you are supposed to take 2% from each booth, but going to 300 booths is very taxing. So what we can say, we can randomly select 30 booths or 40
Oh,
booths by cluster sampling technique, which I can teach you. So taking
yes,
a
sir.
40 cluster is not that difficult. And from each cluster, you can take a 10 individuals, age more than 18 years. These 400 will have 100 times more value of your study rather than this study which you are going to do it. So what I
I
say
agree.
that you just wait. If you have not started this study, you complete your pilot study. There's not a problem. You can complete your pilot study two in the two of the in the patient itself in the hospital. You will get few things, few in the college like this, right?
Yes, sir.
And the most easiest thing for pilot study, you have medical students, 30 medical. So each student goes to one ward and goes to the ward, takes a relative and something like that. So that's very easy. Other thing is you have telephone directory, BSNL telephone directory. Now people don't use BSNL because that's why a problem. But still, at least if they give access to it, then randomly you can pick up 30, 40 people like that. So many things are available. So if I can do it, this random study, then it will be very good. And perception part, I agree with you that this will be sufficient. But when you say the practice part of it, for that, hardly few people must have undergone these practices. So
Yeah.
here, this prevalence part, right, it will not be. It's a Poisson distribution will work over here, and you need to have a very large sample to find out who has undergone the testing. But if you catch all the doctors who are capable of doing practice in Lucknow, and if you do surveys of those doctor, then the practices part you can cover. These are the some of the suggestion. And the after our session is over, then also we in future will continue. But so far is an excellent presentation. You can go for data analysis now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Uh, I will be using the SPSS software
Hmm.
and be applying the suitable tests like
What is the name? What is name of your institute? Sorry to interrupt. Name of your college or institute?
uh, I am
आप कहाँ काम करते हैं?
integral university, sir.
University. University is having the software, official software. They have purchased it.
Uh, right now, sir, frankly speaking, I don't have the licensed version.
So if you don't have license, don't write it. Even if
Okay.
you do with that, write AP info because
Okay, sir.
sometimes The SPSS people can make a claim that from where you have used it, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
either you should have, or what else you can do that you find out a statistics department in the university. They must have a licensed person. Although you may do it yourself, in sense you are not making a profit out of that, but you can write with the department of statistics. You will be doing this SPSS. This is
Okay,
something
sir.
like half truth, but your meaning, morally you are right, right? So otherwise, chi-square test will be a square compared difference Bayesian characteristics into or tested to for CRC. Okay. Then quantitative variables will be grouped into categories. Now, these quantitative variables will be grouped into categories. You forget this. Directly now you have a test, no means test. You can compare the age between two groups. Mean difference between two variables. Age है, या तो duration है, or their BMI hai, everything you can convert into. So no need to group into the categories. Possible, I always, you see, this was done in the past, maybe 30, 40 years ago. They were grouping the people in that. Now, if you want to group, it's a different thing, a statistical method whereby you draw a normal distribution curve, find out where there is a break, and then you make a group with help of statistician. Otherwise, avoid the grouping because we have F test, right? F test you have, T test you have to compare the means. Then why do we go for this categorization?
Yes, sir, I agree.
But rest of the things okay, percentage, pheasant interpretation. Yeah,
Uh,
set as
so
zero failure. Yes.
that is all, sir. I will also take the ethical approval and
Yes, yes, sure.
from the
And
from my
mm,
university,
yeah.
and that is all, sir. I have prepared till here only.
So now we'll be looking for your Google form. Yeah. And if possible, once you do the pilot study, just think over Lucknow Corporation के साथ बैठिए and you'll be able to find out sampling frame. कहाँ से आपको sample लेना है. That will be very good. And if you want to go for practices, may have a list of doctors who are doing this screening और उसमें से भी sample लेके कर दीजिए. ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
You
Thank
are
you, sir.
you have prepared any budget for this?
No, sir. I'm working on that.
हाँ तो बजट प्रिपेयर कर लीजिए मे बी 4-5 lakhs का बजट लिख दीजिए सेंड इट टू ICMR करना है तो करने दीजिए कैंसर रजिस्ट्रेशन करना है इवन दी लखनऊ कॉर्पोरेशन इफ दे फील इट गुड 40-50 thousand they can allocate उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है so by writing budget uh, one thing is your skill development will be there and also it will ensure that people don't want to pay for this because national program cancer prevention program NCD program they have a lot of budget particularly in the national jo रूरल हेल्थ मिशन नेशनल अर्बन हेल्थ मिशन वो NRHM वगैरह के पास फंड होते हैं if they want to
Yes,
give
sir.
it right so
Okay.
any specific question.
No, sir. No. Right now, I don't have any question from my
Okay.
side.
Okay, so these are the some of the points you can start your study, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the inputs.
Okay. So पानुगंती आपको कुछ डिस्कस करना है नहीं तो फिर मैं तो रिवीजन में चला जाऊंगा if
रीजन
you
में
have
जाइए सर।
anything रिवीजन में चला जाऊं ठीक है
यस
ये
सर।
शेयर बंद बंद कर दीजिए शेयरिंग मैं थोड़ा सा रिवीजन में जाऊंगा इट विल बी रैपिड रिवीजन बट वहां से आपको पता चलेगा कि कुछ आपको बाकी है जानना नहीं बाकी है वगैरह एंड आपका जो 3x3 का जो स्टडी है ना वो भी हमको इसकी थोड़ा सा डेटा कलेक्ट होने के बाद बता देना कि क्या किया आपने
ओके सर।
गोइंग फॉर this file is specifically is not a PPT, it's a basically Word file. It's a loaded heavily with the information, but I'll be going quickly through it so that if anything is remaining. And the next session, I'm thinking that cluster sampling, lot sampling technique, then the uh, kappa test and non-parameter test. These are the things which I would like to go through next time. Now, I think the screen is visible
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
and visible. Eh?
Yes, sir.
So basically, in biostatistics, we collect the data and apply. And this, the first few slides will be useful for Dr. Sayed also, because from where you can find this is the electoral list census. You say that, right? Then you can have other data is registration of vital events. But डेथ का जो registration होता है, वहां से डेथ की registry may be useful for you कि death because of the colon cancer or cancer or not. So from that you can get the proportional mortality rate, right? A disease specific mortality rate, proportional mortality that you can find from this registry. And then sample registry, SRS. The data, NFHS data from the government of India, from your state data, that also you can refer for that purpose. And notification may not be useful, but cancer registry can be useful for you. This is specific registry if it is maintained by corporation. Then you have around, let's say, thousands of hospital in India, and you can target the cancer hospitals, and you can get their data, proportional mortality list. Suppose the cancer hospital of Ahmedabad, they have got, let's say, around 50,000 cases of cancer every year. Out of the how many were colorectal cancers, right? And retrospectively ask them whether you have gone for screening or not, and what were their perceptions. That is also another thing which you can go through it. See, your presentation was very small and very good presentation, but in that presentation, if you go with this kind of data, it will open up horizons. This is what I said. This is registers. So record linkage. We are still in a very initial phase in India. Digital health mission. Once we get the details, after maybe 5, 10 years, it will be easier for to find out prevalence, etc. Just a minute. Now, when it comes to epidemic surveillance, or even when you are teaching in your college, at that time, one should think of, suppose teaching a class of 200 medical students. I can teach them from each family what information we want. Then we can specifically instruct them to try to collect data from your family. More than 18 years, name, etc., etc. So 200 medical students, if you need a school children data, we can tell them to link with their school where they have studied. On an average, 200 students might be coming from 150 schools. Each school might have around thousands. So 1,50,000 students you are covering in a single day. Out of that, even if you get a 10% response, 15,000 forms can be filled up in a single day. So wherever you are there, think how you can cover others. Now this slide, health service records, basically hospital records. You can, for colorectal cancer, you can ask colleagues, hospitals, etc. School health records, you may not find colorectal cancers, but the habits you can find out there. And then environmental data. Now, one thing is ecological correlation. Word ecological correlation, many of us may not understand that. In this ecological correlation, what happens that Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Bombay, etc., their air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, industrial toxins, or number of industries, or population, and the humidity factor, number of the vehicles, or roads in the kilometers, etc. So these parameters, when you compare across the various cities or various areas, geographic area, that is ecological correlation, and that can have a lot of the a lot of insight that how it could have done. Suppose if you compare the asthma in Delhi and asthma in, let's say, maybe a Hyderabad or maybe Bangalore, something like that. So there may be a striking difference because of the air pollution. Then the manpower statistics also, you can get it. The most important is population surveys, which is hardly ever done, right? People don't want to go to the population basically. The data are of two types. The primary, once you ask person directly, there's a primary data. And if you're getting from the other sources like hospital, etc., that's the secondary data. Now, the presentation probably don't want to go much detail, but the histogram word you should remember, because when you have bar charts, basically column bar charts, right? In that, when it is closely spaced bar chart, vertical bar chart, if it is closely spaced and on x-axis it is something variable measurements, right? Like height, weight, etc. And y-axis is the numbers of a person. Then this is known as histogram. And if you join the midpoint of this histogram, it will give you frequency polygons. And if you remove these gons, that's the part which are the angles, and then make it a smooth, that becomes your normal distribution curve. As scatter diagram, x versus y axis, both are variables, no? Like height and weight, like this. Then is the scatter diagram. Data, as we know it, is a primary and secondary data, right? And then both could be qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative means then you can have, see, if you count the people, it is a discrete. And if you measure the thing, it is continuous. And in qualitative, you can have a categories like the description could also be there, like the black and white, male or female, or tall or short, something like that. The category may be based on some particular characteristic, or sometimes category may be based on the measurement also. Center tendency, we did talk about this mean, mode, and median. Mean is a arithmetic mean, median is a middle value, and mode is most frequently occurring value. When we use the bimodal or multimodal, for example, fracture occurs in the children and old age, if you speak something like this, it's a bimodal like this, right? Now here, the dispersion. We people say that if I want to compare Lucknow and Bombay, I can compare directly 60 lakh population versus 1 crore population, their height. It is difficult. So we compare the mean. But mean alone doesn't give something because of how much the data is dispersed around. That's why we use the range, minimum and maximum, and the deviations. Mean deviation, we don't use it because it doesn't give a standard value as standard deviation gives us. That's why we are making a square of it to remove the negative signs of deviations, positive minus, and then at the end we are taking root of it. So that's why this is standard deviation is useful. Now this n minus 1 and n. So when we have more than 30, we are taking only n. If it's n minus 1, when it's less than 30, because at that time it will make an effect. If data is 100 or 200, something like that, it doesn't make any difference. Now, if you don't take a root, if you take a root, you will get standard deviation. But if you don't take a root, it's a variance. So square of the standard deviation is variance. This is a method of standard deviation which we have already have seen. Now the sampling technique. And any subset of the population is a sample. If I have 1 lakh population, if I take a whole population, that we can also consider as a sample because that is a subset also, right? When you make a list of members of list of clusters, that is a sampling frame from where you want to change your sample. Now, this is a bit revision on sampling technique. Unless you cannot go for simple random sampling, you should go for systematic random sampling. But if you want a specific characters to be included, then you go for stratification, stratified random sampling. And if you want to go rapidly measure something in a big population, you go for cluster sampling technique. But when this probability sampling is not possible, only then you go for non-probability sampling. Otherwise, try to go for random sampling, right? And random sample means each individual within the population has an equal chance of being selected. Remember this. Each individual within a population has an equal chance of being selected. If your uh, sampling technique is random or not, if you want to find out this, ask this question. Uh, this purpose is sampling or convenience sampling because it's nearby you, so that's why you're taking, or you want a particular type of people, that's why you are taking it. That's a different thing. Quota sampling, you want to have this many people in your design, so you start taking one, two, three. Once your quota is over, you stop it. Okay. Uh, then probability sampling technique we have already seen, right? Stratified and you use divide into two strata, three strata like this, and from each strata you take a sample, either the simple random or systematic random sampling. Now, cluster sampling, it is important to know that suppose you want to take a cluster sampling from the whole Lucknow city. Lucknow city, let's say, have total 30 lakh population, or even let's say 45 lakh population. You divide into 30. So 45 lakh divided by 30 gives 1.5 lakh. So that's your sampling interval. And then uh, from this, there will be a list of wards or areas. There will cumulative population will also be there. And then you find which cluster you should be taking. Sampling error. When you talk about the population based on a sample, there is some error that is known as sampling error. When you talk about population based on a sample, there is an error that is known as sampling error. If you standardize this sampling error, that is a standard error. This is something about measurement of morbidity and mortality, right? So in morbidity, you have incidence rate. That means how many people get affected within 1 year. But when you consider incidence, it is out of risk population. When you get a prevalence out of total population, that is the difference between these two, right? And incidence in case of chronic disease very difficult to measure. You need to have longitudinal study. While prevalence is easier for the chronic diseases at given point of time, how many people were suffering from a disease. That is the point prevalence. But if you take a period prevalence, between this period, how many people will have suffered even once? That is a period prevalence. Now, this is the definition of incidence. You need to remember the of person at risk developing the disease during that period, right? So, if you want to find out incidence of colorectal cancer, you need to find out in a 1 year period all the people are at risk and ask them. So your thing at risk, a particular risk factor, if you find it, and age more than 18 years or more than 35 years for that matter, and you screen that every month, right? Or maybe every 3 months, then you may be able to find out incidence. But prevalence may not be difficult because at a particular point of time, you screen 10,000 or 50,000 people and find out point prevalence. So this is the word point prevalence and period prevalence. Point prevalence at given point of time. Given point of time doesn't mean exactly 12 noon on a 19th November, not like that. So your point prevalence could be within 3 days you have done a survey and in the 30,000 population you have found this many people. That's a point prevalence. But period prevalence, let's say from in the month of September, how many people suffer from malaria? That could be a period prevalence. Now the word hypothesis. One of the questions that every research question should we have a hypothesis, yes or no? So in colorectal cancer, when you are starting with the perception, what could be the hypothesis? We can have a hypothesis that 10% people know about this. There's a hypothesis, right? And if you want to find out difference between two, for example, the male and female, you can say there is no difference between perception of male and female as far as the colorectal cancer awareness is concerned, something like this. So, hypothesis, when you start doing some kind of study, what is your expectation? What do you understand about the situation? And null hypothesis means whatever occurring in the world that occurs just because by chance and there is no specific reason behind that. That is a null hypothesis. Right? And without this, it is difficult to apply statistical tests because statistical tests are based on some assumption. That's why we say the standard normal distribution area under the curve is one and the inverted shape like this, right? And so because of that, we take like this. And I think this is enough uh, about this. And so will be few other points we'll be taking next time. If someone else is ready to present, we'll do that. And next time I will be talking about the diagnostic flowchart again. I will give you a few examples. In this case, which test you are going to use it, and how you are going to use in this case the AP info. That will be the next session. And the last 13th session will be summing up if anyone has any questions. So next session will be a diagnostic flow chart. In which situation, which statistical test you are going to use it. And some revision about non-parametric tests also, cluster sampling, then something about the lot sampling assessment. So that now, because you are almost oriented about it, it will be interesting to know. Any question? Okay, thank you. So अभी हम बंद कर सकते हैं? थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir.